Okay.
Tell me when we're live.
It is. We are live, but they're a little bit behind, but we're live. So hi guys.
Hi guys.
Okay. Here we go. It's live, guys. Yes, we're live. We're good. We are live, but they're a little bit behind, but we're live. So hi guys.
Yeah.
All right. So
and mute it on YouTube.
I am so sorry, you guys. This is all my fault. I take full responsibility because when Carly and Victoria came to me and they're like, we're going to do it and we're going to do it on Google Hangouts. We're like, hold up. You have to switch to Webinar Jam. It's the best. It rocks. We have done tons of webinars on it. We've never had issues. And then you guys, oh, I'm so sorry. So my apologies. And we are going to offer this webinar again so that people who, we're going to offer it again later on this week, but we're going to keep going for those of you who have been so amazingly patient and waited for like 30 minutes. So you guys can go ahead and go wherever it had gotten stopped at. I will.
Crystal, do you think we should stop where it froze for them? Or
that's what you said.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
perfect.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Let me get back.
Samantha in the chat says, give it up for some amazing VAs. Yes. And I'm not talking about us. I mean, like, Crystal is an amazing host and our moderators have been so helpful, like texting us, telling us what's going on and helping you guys out and getting messages sent to customer support and new things set up. So yeah.
Amazing.
We're all rock stars here.
This is what we do, guys. This is what we do.
True. And let me just say, while you're getting the slides up, Carly, like only a mom for real. Like who else thinks on their feet like this but moms? Like legitimately, right? I mean, who just changes like, oh, you mean they have to be like at soccer camp across the street like 30 minutes ago? Okay, fine. Let's switch the whole day. Like only moms can do that. That's why we love
so true. So true. Okay, so I think you guys should start seeing the slides here in just a second.
Yeah.
Yay, here we go. I'm going to make sure they come up before we start because you guys have been amazing. There we go. Look at that, Victoria. Okay.
Yay.
Victoria, I'll flip through the slides. I'm going to let you talk a minute because I need to get our moderators as moderators in our chat.
Cool. Okay, I will talk. You do slides.
Okay.
So this is what we talked about. Is how to get clients. Hi, people. Wow. Thank you guys.
We're
going to get right back. And we will be doing this again. So no worries. Okay. So thinking about, I need to turn my camera off maybe. No.
You don't have to.
Okay. So a way you can get clients is by number one, you can ask business owners that you just know in real life. So this could be someone like your, like best friend's mom who runs a store or something like that. It is really great to just like make those connections. And a way that we love kind of making the introduction for people is by sending that email, and keep in mind, this is what we call warm. So if you kind of already know the person, that's a warm contact. Someone you totally don't know would be cold. So these are kind of warm people. You would just go up to them and say, hey, what would you love to do with 5 extra hours in your work week? And let me tell you, as a business owner, if someone asks me that, I'm like, hey, I could think of a lot of things I would love to do. Tell me more. And so that's just a great introduction. Or something like, what's a task you would love to never have to do again? Those are just great kind of confident ways to go in to someone that you already have a relationship with as a business owner and offer your services. A little trick that we like to recommend to people is to offer to work like the first 5 hours or so for free or at a super reduced rate. And this is not because you were not valuing the work of a virtual assistant or anything like that. It is just kind of a lot of times this is new for people and it's a nice way to kind of softly present yourself and just to go in and say like, hey, I can do this. Let's talk about it. It's low risk for the business owner. But then once you get in there and show value, it's like, hey, this girl's amazing. She's totally got my business. Or she's totally got, my bid as a VA. And another way, one back, Carly.
Sorry about that.
Thank you. No, you're fine.
It's not me. Hold on.
Oh,
there we go.
Oh, no.
I don't know.
Oh, geez. So another way that you can reach out to clients that has been successful for both Carly and myself is to reach out to bloggers that you know. So it's that same kind of warm contact concept. We're just talking about people that you may only be familiar with in the online space. And so this would be writing to people. Maybe it's like an Etsy shop owner or a blogger, some kind of online personality. This is how I literally got my first VA job, is I sent about 25 emails out to people I followed online. And, I just said like, hey, I love your blog, or I love your shop. I'm offering these services now. I would love to tell you more about them and then see if I could be of any help to you. And the big thing here is, I know virtual world is so weird, and it's weird to be separated from people by a screen. But if you just remember, like, we're all people, that's really the great key. Everyone's normal. Everyone puts on their pants the same way. And it kind of equalizes the playing field. So if you go in with that mentality, I think it will be really successful for you. We'll just show you the quick look at like the first email I sent. Basically, to break it down, I just introduced myself, complimented the business, and I just said, hey, I'm offering this. If you would like to work with me, let me know. And I kind of signed off friendly, and that's how I got one of my first jobs. It didn't pay a whole lot, but the good thing here is that I was making connections. And what we have found is that the more yeses you get, the more confident you can become. Just the more you do the work, the more you'll kind of grow. And then, of course, your portfolio grows. You're going to have more people to say like, hey, I did work for so-and-so. And that really builds your credibility.
But if you're not a totally natural extrovert like Victoria, I do want to say this. Getting a no doesn't change your situation. So if you send out 25 emails and you get 24 no's and 1 yes, don't worry about those 24 no's, right? It hasn't changed anything. You're still in the same position. So I just don't want you guys to I want you to know that we've applied to jobs and haven't gotten them. I mean, that's just normal. So don't panic if you think this through and you send some emails to some people and then you hear back negative. It's okay. I promise.
Yeah. And another thing I'll add too is that just by doing it, you can kind of like that's still some kind of networking. Like, I have sometimes gotten jobs from someone I met a year ago.
Yes.
Just as a friend, and they come back and say, hey, I saw you're doing this now. Let's talk. So any connection, if you're keeping that professionalism, putting your best foot forward, it's just kind of building your network, right? There's kind of contacts and possibilities of jobs that might lead to other jobs.
Exactly.
So that's definitely a good word, Carly.
And so here's the way that I have actually, truly, and honestly gotten, I think, all of my jobs, all of my clients, except for maybe one. So if that terrifies you to cold email, then don't stress about it. This is how I've done it. So there are all kinds of Facebook groups. You guys know there's Facebook groups for everything, right? And so what you might not know is that there's Facebook groups that are full of small business owners. There's even Facebook groups full of VAs and business owners. And sometimes in these groups, you want to read the rules, you want to respect the owner of the group and do this right. But sometimes in these groups, you can say, hey, my business, my thing I'm doing is VA work, and here's some of the things I love to do. And so you can make connections with business owners in Facebook groups. There's some of them that are for VAs that you can literally post who you are. And then some of them, it's the business owners who's going to post. They're going to be like, hey, I've been having a hard time getting this done, or hey, I'm looking for a VA who can do this. And you can just say, all right, I sent you a private message, here we go. And so this is, I don't know why this is my preferred way.
It's kind of, you hate Facebook. Like,
I know I'm not a big social media person. I don't know, but this is what
it works.
But the big thing that we really just want you to take away from these 3 strategies to finding a client and the things we've talked about is just that you really can start working as a VA from home right now with the skills and the tools that you already have. So much of what we both do, we didn't start out being experts at it or knowing how to do it. It maybe fit some of our skills, or we thought, oh, okay, this fits my personality or what I enjoy doing. But it's not like we came in as these highly trained expert VAs. You really can start doing VA work, with where you're at right now.
Yeah. And I know some of you could still be thinking like, this feels way too good to be true. I just don't know. And I get it. It does sound like that maybe on the surface, but the reality is, just like any job that's worth doing, hard work is kind of the secret sauce, right? We are just kind of presenting to you this kind of new frontier of working online from home, and how we've kind of carved our path in it. And we can tell you that it's definitely possible. That the thing that separates VAs and people who can work online versus not, it really is just hard work and like being persistent and putting in those, woman hours that you need to, and getting it done. So
Exactly. Yep.
yeah, but we will admit there is a catch to all of this. And so here's the thing, guys. We both totally blew it when we were new VAs. Yeah. And it's not fun to talk about.
It really isn't.
Yeah, but it's true. The thing is that it really is, there's just a learning curve, right? For some people, it might be really literal in that, like, whoa, I don't like the internet. I don't get it. Everything feels weird and new to me. But also just this idea of like connecting with people online and doing work for businesses or figuring out what you can do. That's huge. And we really did make some major mistakes in the beginning.
Yeah. And the really sad thing is that when we look back now at what we know now, all those mistakes that we made, or the majority of them, I think were really preventable. And had we had just kind of a little bit more knowledge, a little bit more information, maybe even a little help, then it wouldn't have been these big preventable mistakes. And then the really sad thing was that it did interfere with some of our client relationships. I personally got stuck in a couple of relationships. You guys, I literally tried to quit. I thought I had quit, and I got an email the next day with work to do. So obviously I had not quit well. So, we just got stuck in some bad situations, and we just didn't have the skills or the tools to make it better.
Yeah. And kind of, on top of that, what's more frustrating is that we lost work trying to figure out like how to use tools and set up workflows for ourselves. We literally kind of missed out on jobs or future job opportunities because we didn't have that stuff nailed down. Yep. And of course, when you're missing out on work, you're losing money, right? We lost out on some actual income we could have been bringing in because we didn't communicate clearly and because we had some misunderstandings. Yeah. And what was worst of all is that we lost time with our families trying to figure all of it out. And remember, back to the beginning, it feels so long ago now, but back to the beginning of this webinar, we talked about our families are really the reason why we did this. And so it's heartbreaking to know that we were missing out time with them, which is why we started this in the first place.
Exactly. And what we really wished we'd had, what we really needed as new VAs, kind of trailblazing in some of these areas, and honestly, a lot of times working with business owners who we were their first VAs also, is we really needed a guide or a mentor or a resource that could kind of just help us not make these silly mistakes and help us be more clear in our communications. But we didn't have one. And it isn't because we looked or we didn't look. We did look, and we couldn't find what we needed. And so we did some rough stuff. I mean, I started taking phone calls at dinner from a client. I shouldn't have done that. Somebody should have told me, hey, set some boundaries and stick with them. So our family suffered, our income suffered, and I feel like the clients suffered because we didn't have a resource. And unfortunately, as we look back from where we are now, we think, man, that success that we have found as VAs came at quite the steep price.
Yeah. But now that's the good thing, is that because we figured this out and we've been, more successful in terms of relating to clients and getting work done, we get lots of messages from friends or colleagues or people who just kind of find us through others. I had seriously someone like, hey, we went to high school together, or like, I went to high school with your friend and she told me about this thing you're doing. Can you, like, crazy stuff like that. We got messages or people asking us like, what you're doing sounds amazing. Can you please tell me how you're doing it? And so, like Carly hinted earlier, we tried to look for some resources to point people in the right direction. And the reality is there are lots of courses out there. Some are hundreds and even thousands of dollars. But what we didn't like is that a lot of those courses teaching people how to be VAs were really geared towards someone who could put in like 80 hours a week and hustle super hard. And we didn't find anything that really spoke to moms like us.
Exactly. And honestly, one of the courses I found that I'm sure was excellent, it was $4,000. And there was no way we had $4,000 to put into a course.
Yeah, that's just crazy. And it kind of made us feel like this, right? Like, hey, what about me? Like, does anyone see me and know what I need?
So we did what savvy moms do, right? We're moms, we troubleshoot, we solve problems. So what we did is we created our own course and then a community that's designed specifically for busy moms just like you who want to work from home, who need an alternative, and they only have the margins of those very busy mom days.
Yeah. And we definitely had moms at the heart of this the whole way through. Our course was designed with videos that will set you up to succeed as a virtual assistant, and they're pre-recorded. So you can watch them at your own pace. You can pause and go help clean a bottom and then come right back to it.
No technical difficulties.
Right. Yes, exactly. Oh, goodness. Here's kind of a look inside our platform and what that looks like. You can see there's lessons on the left-hand side. You just click right through as you move through the material.
Yeah, and one of us, and that would be me, has a little obsession with worksheets. And so every lesson has a worksheet and an overview of that lesson, because some of us really like to, write things down, take notes, really make it practical. I just brainstorm better on paper. I'm not even a digital planner kind of person. So we've got worksheets for most of the lessons, anywhere that you really need to write some stuff down and brainstorm. So if you like practical kind of hands-on learning like me, I've got you covered.
So this class has kind of given you a good starting foundation. Like we've shown you like how you can get started with VA work. And then our course is really the answer to knowing how to thrive as a VA, because we have a bunch of additional material that we'll go through in a second, as well as a community Carly mentioned to give you that ongoing support. Yeah. So in our course, you will learn things like how to track your time, how to make sure you get paid. That's important, right? How to find your particular VA style, and just some tips and tricks we found along the way to make your work more efficient. We'll introduce you in the course to tools that you're going to use every day, as well as strategies, kind of even more than what we've talked about just now, about how to find clients so that you're not wasting time not working. You can get those jobs quicker. We'll teach you how to communicate with your clients effectively and how to know when it's not working, which is we're kind of hinting at. And I'm guessing, Carly, we might have to share a story or something in the Q&A because I saw some questions. But how to communicate and how to know when it's not working. Because I don't know about you, but that is kind of scary to think, oh my gosh, could I actually start something and then feel afraid to leave or not quite sure how? We'll tell you how to prevent those situations, first of all, but then also when you're in them, how to make the best of it.
Absolutely.
And then, and most importantly, we will teach you how to keep your family first and to really balance that home life and work from home life, because we are moms after all, and we would not be doing this were it not for our families. And something that Carly and I actually have grown in as we've been working as virtual assistants is our sense of self-care and just taking care of our bodies and our minds and what we need to be successful. So that's been awesome.
Yeah. And interestingly, my family says that overall I'm healthier and happier now that I'm working.
Oh. Carly? I think we lost your audio, Carly. Okay. So I think you guys maybe can still hear me. Is that right? Nope. We can't hear anything. Oh. Oh, goodness. Guys, can you hear any of us?
They can hear you.
They can hear me? Okay, you can hear me. Okay, I will keep going. Okay. Maybe Carly's coming back on, though.
I'm back. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yay.
Okay.
Sorry, guys.
Okay. You can Let
me share those slides again, guys. Sorry about that. I don't know. It is just not our night. That's all there is to it.
But we'll keep going speedily.
Go for it.
Yeah. Did you share the... Oh, or did you make me presenter?
Nope, they're up now. The slides are up. We're good.
Okay, because I'm hardwired in if you need
Yes, you are.
to make me the presenter. But yeah, okay, cool. So this is kind of an idea of so this is kind of an idea of what our like community looks like. When you get our course, you will get to come into our private Facebook group, which is where we post jobs and answer questions and help people kind of navigate, you know, the kind of VA ropes.
Yep.
And yeah, I'm not sure. Okay, there we go.
There we go.
Another thing that we include in the course is the VA tax guide. Neither Carly nor I are tax professionals. We don't play one on TV. But we consulted with Sarah Kornack, she's a former accountant, and she knows her stuff. So she provided this guide for us, which is super helpful.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, it really is. And it gives just some good advice because we definitely believe being above bar and just, as clean as we can be. So that guide is helpful. Another fun thing we get to include is this course from Brilliant Business Moms, How to Be Brilliant on Social Media, which is actually something that I collaborated with Beth Ann on to create. So it's a fun 2-hour course, just giving you the ropes. And it was very nice of her to let us include that.
Yep, it's awesome.
Yeah. And then we also just have like the videos and overviews and worksheets like Carly mentioned, the bonus trainings, the VA tax guide, the private Facebook group that you can join only if you're a member of the course. And then of course you kind of get access to us as mentors.
And I would say, Victoria, that our community on Facebook is one of the biggest things. They are incredible ladies. They are all learning but they are so supportive of each other, and everyone celebrates when somebody gets a client. It's just a neat place to be.
Yeah. And actually we just had a student, which we'll talk about this in the next slide. We're going to tell you about a fun little bonus we have for you guys. But one of our students has said that she's gotten like at least 3 jobs like within the first month of getting started through our Facebook group, which is awesome. Carly and I try to keep tabs on what's going on and when we see jobs and just post ideas and opportunities in there. So that just thrilled me. She's like, I've gotten 3 clients from like just being in your Facebook group. It's like, what? That's awesome. I'm so glad. Yeah.
And so this is kind of what we created out of that. Was one of the things that our students really, what they really wanted was kind of a little more hand-holding for how to find that client. It's nerve-wracking, and we get it. We totally understand because we've been there. We've been brand new VAs. And so this is really a comprehensive step-by-step guide that after you've gone through the course, you can walk through this guide and it'll walk you through exactly how to find that client. And it's first client, but honestly, you could walk through it and find your 4th and 5th and 20th client too. So these are some of the things you'll find in this bonus, the kinds of jobs you really can do. We've got so many awesome sample emails, a whole formula for how to write killer pitch emails. Crystal said at the beginning of the webinar, we should have put in there, spell their name properly. That's a good thing to do. And so much more. It's a really fun guide.
Yeah. So did we already do this slide, Carly? No. Yes. To kind of recap what you're getting, is that we get all the video lessons. There are 3 modules and there's several videos in each. Again, the videos are pre-recorded and I think they last no longer than about 30 minutes total. So I think the total video content teaching in the course is about 3 hours, not including all of the bonus trainings that we have. That's another great thing. Yeah. When we say bonus trainings, what we actually mean is legitimate bonus trainings. When a student comes to us with a question, we just create that training and put it in the course. I just did one last week of like how to make a quick graphic in a program called Canva and how to download it and how to schedule that on a Facebook page. Right. Just little things like that. Our goal is to be as helpful as we possibly can and to fill as many gaps as we can. You get the VA tax guide, us as mentors in our group, and all of that is only $95, which I don't know. I think that would make me feel like Carly's little daughter, Julie here. It's a total mom win. A couple of you in the chat were already asking like, oh gosh, I hope this isn't really costly. And we hear you. We were totally over those like $4,000 courses. To teach you how to do something like be a VA, especially when we know moms are often doing it for their families. So our goal is to make this course really affordable and something that you can easily make back. Most of our students say that they have made back the investment within a month of VA work. So that's really exciting and important to us. Yeah. And the bonus that Carly mentioned, that quick start guide, how to find your first client, that will expire Friday, January 26th at midnight, which that will change a little bit since all of our technical issues. Just know that if you buy, if you buy the course, from being in this webinar, you will get the bonus guide. So
agreed. Yep.
And we'll give more information about that later.
And the thing that we want you to think through on the $95 cost is that, like we said, we could never have put thousands and thousands or even hundreds of dollars into a course. But the cool thing about VA work is there is no initial, investment, like we were saying with a party or something like that, or a kit. But also, really, if you kind of think back to our schedule and that kind of baseline of $20 an hour, you could make that cost back in your first week. And several of our students have reported back to us that's exactly what they did. They were able to recoup that initial investment in just the first week of working.
Yeah, here is what one of our students, Jessica, has had to say about the course. She sent us a really nice message, and we love that it has given her confidence, and knowledge that she has been able to bring an extra $800 a month into her family with pretty part-time hours, so she's still able to be a mom. That is so awesome to us and so cool to hear, and we're really grateful to Jessica for sharing that.
And I loved, can you see, I don't know if you guys can see the email really closely, but she said, I even made a Pinterest board all about Joanna Gaines. I mean, what's not to love about that?
Right.
I love it.
Exactly. So we know that this course is an investment, and we definitely don't take that lightly, but it's an investment that has the power to really positively impact your family's finances for the long term. And like we've said, it's an investment that you really can quickly and pretty easily make back. If you're using that $20 an hour benchmark, like we talked about earlier, it's really just a week of work.
Yep.
Working 1 hour, just 1 hour a day. So we feel good about that.
We'll skip those bonuses ending.
Yes. And so if you're interested, what you can do is head to this link, bit.ly/money saving moms work, and we'll get a link in the chat for you. And when you go there, that's Crystal's affiliate link to thank her for helping us do this webinar. When you go to that page, you will see our course landing page. You just click the buy $95 button, and that will take you to this screen where you set up an account. What you're doing here is creating a student account with Thinkific, which is our course hosting platform. Then you will just put in your easy peasy credit card information or check out with PayPal, which if you're like me, that's how you do most things online. And then you're done.
That's it.
Again, yeah, that link was bit.ly/money saving moms work. And I know that one of our awesome moderators is getting that in the chat. Thank you, Brittany and Ellen. You guys have been troopers.
So let's bring Crystal back on and let's take some questions, and let's do that. Let's see. There we go.
Alrighty. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. And Crystal, our moderators did email you a Google Doc with the questions they collected if you want to look at those, or you can just look in the chat.
Yes. Okay. So if anyone has questions, you can leave them in the chat. Thank you again so much for hanging with us tonight. Oh my goodness, you guys. I literally texted someone on my team and said, this is the worst webinar that I've ever done. And I've done a lot of webinars. And so I'm shocked by the fact that there are 254 people watching right now. I mean, you guys get some sort of major award.
I know.
That is incredible. And so I want to answer as many questions as we can, but I also want to respect your time. But there were a number of questions that were left in the webinar jam that you asked throughout the evening. And so we will tackle some of those. And then if you have other questions, you can leave them in the comments on Google Hangout, and we will talk about those as well. So I'm going to answer some of them that I can answer and then throw some to Carly and Victoria as well. So Karen asked, can I replace a full-time job with VA work? And I will tell you absolutely, because I have people on my team who are working virtually, who are my employees, who are making full-time income from VA work, because they started out part-time contractors and worked themselves up to being full-time employees. And so that is definitely possible. And it's also possible that you can make more than $20 an hour, and that you could actually work fewer hours but make the same amount of money, if not more money. So it is very possible. It takes time, it takes effort. I never hire someone full time just right out of the gate. I always, they work themselves up to that. It always starts out with maybe a few hours a week and then work up to part-time and then, to full-time. And so, but it is totally possible to make a full-time income as a virtual assistant. And Kathy asks, do you have to work the same hours each day? Could you work 1 today and 8 tomorrow? So I have people on my team. I have 3 full-time employees, and then I have a number of contractors. And some of those contractors, they will only work a few days a week. They're on their own time. They have projects that need to be done that week. And as long as they get done that week, it doesn't matter when they do them or how many hours they work, which days, so long as they get their projects done. So there are many jobs out there that are really flexible, and some, if you're working for multiple clients and you have your own business that you work up to, where they are coming to you and saying, hey, I need this done, and you are fitting it into your schedule, then you can totally set your own hours. Now, there are other jobs that you do where you're going to have set hours. I have someone on my team who's working part-time in a contract position where they have set hours because they're helping with Money Saving Mom responsibilities, and they are watching over the blog at certain hours of the day. So they have to be available at certain hours, but then other people have very flexible hours. So there's a variety of possibilities out there. And with virtual assistant work, you can find something that works for your schedule. Okay, so let's see. Michelle asks, can you be a VA without using the telephone to talk? Absolutely. I despise the phone. Despise it. I avoid the phone at all costs unless it's involved, it's texting. And so on our team, we do almost everything through email. We have a few people that also work on an online platform called Teamwork. And then we do a little bit through text, and occasionally we will do video chats. But for the most part, it is all through email. So it is an introvert's dream job is what I think. And then let's see. I'm going to let Carly and Victoria, if you can speak to, a lot of people are asking about, if it's contract work, do we need to have a business license? Do we need to set up a business? What does that look like? And so you guys could kind of speak to that.
Yeah. Carly, do you want to start?
Sure. Sorry. Yeah, so we do cover some of that in the course in the tax guide, the VA tax guide. But yeah, you don't have to do much of anything. Most of us, when we kind of get started, don't really set up any kind of business and don't really, make anything formal. And then kind of as you go along and it becomes something you're working for multiple clients or whatever, like I just this year turned mine into kind of an LLC, a limited liability corporation, but there's a lot you can do. Those rules actually vary by state. That's actually where those rules vary. So that's really covered in that VA tax guide because it's not our specialty. But I mean, the short answer is no. Do you have to form a business? Not really. It's pretty simple tax wise, but a lot of people end up doing so just because they like kind of the extra protection of it.
Yeah. And as far as contracts go, we do address that in the VA or the bonus that you'll get, like quick start guide. That's what's so funny is contracts are kind of like, if you really want to cross your T's and dot your I's, you can do those. Some free places online, like 17hats.com is one and dipsado.com is another. Again, those are both linked in like the bonus that we have. They kind of have sample contracts for you. But then I know it's kind of it's like, how trusting are you? It's always a good idea to have a contract, I think. But speaking very candidly, I know Carly and I, initially that was not something that we at first ran into, but I have definitely had clients who like had their own contract or something like a non-compete, which means that you're kind of agreeing to not share certain information that their business has created, which is all very smart. Like, it's just kind of, there's so many ways people do it. And really the question is like, how much protection are you wanting? With regards to contracts and that sort of thing. I know, like Carly's kind of mentioning, because I've been doing this for a while, my business is kind of shifting in some senses. And so I'm working more like a business as well. And I'm definitely creating contracts now that my people, like the clients I sign, would sign to kind of make that agreement more formalized. But we've never had problems in the past. It really is just to like, how specific do you want to be? Or maybe the business you're working with will already have something set up. But yeah, you're kind of responsible for taking care of yourself in that sense and how much protection you feel like you need.
Okay, so someone's asking if they live outside the US, is this course practical for someone who lives outside the US?
Yes, absolutely. That's a good question. Our examples will be like American based, just because that's both where we live in the United States. But the principles apply. The only thing could think would be maybe, Carly, is like if we ever post something in the group, if there happens to be a job that's only open to like a US based only person. But again, that's kind of online world. Like some businesses are equipped to work with people all over the world, some aren't. But the principles that we're teaching definitely apply. And much of course, because it's the internet, much of the sites and things that we're going to talk about do work like worldwide.
Yeah. And I've seen a couple of interesting things with that. Like more often than seeing US only, it's English speaking, or something along those lines. And so,
good point.
And then the other thing is sometimes what is nice about working from another country is that the dollar exchange is different. And so when you get paid $20 American dollars per hour, that's a lot more to somebody in another country. And so there's some people that would like that. So yeah, I think it totally fits. It's just going to be a matter of each client and what they're looking for.
Blair asked, do some clients pay per project or do most pay per hour? And I think, again, that is going to vary. Every single person on my team right now or that's working in contract position for me is paid per hour, except for we have, obviously my employees are paid just salary. And then we have 2 companies that work for us. One who does all of our bookkeeping and finances and payroll and all of that. They're actually a local company, but we pay them just a flat fee per month to take care of that for us. And so that involves some months it's more work and some months it's less. And then also our internet, our guy who makes sure our website is always running, which we should have had tonight to help the webinar run, because he always makes sure things work, but we pay them a flat fee as well. And so I would say that in most cases, it's a per hour sort of thing, but if it were graphic design or something like a website design, a lot of times that would be something that might be on a per project basis. I think it's a little bit safer to do per hour, just because sometimes a client can be really difficult to work with, or it can be a lot more extensive. I know for me, when I'm working contracts with, let's say, a large corporation, that I'm going to be doing a project for them. For instance, I work with Procter & Gamble. And so I have signed a contract with them that they want this type of blog post, this type of social media, they want this, that, and the other. I'm going to be thinking I do it on a per project basis, but I'm going to be calculating in my head exactly how many hours I know it's going to take me. And then I'm going to add extra hours because things always take more time than I expect that they will. So if you're going to do it per project, make sure that you're getting a really good hourly rate, and then that you're adding on extra hours so that in case it takes you more time than you expect it will, which it probably will, then you've added your time with that.
Yep.
Okay, Carrie asked, do you have to have a computer to be a virtual assistant?
That's a good, part of me wants to just say yes, but the thing is, you can always do something like use a library computer to do some work. You would just want to be or even if you were doing editing, I could see that just being done in a Word document. You can always borrow that. If you don't have access to your own computer, the short answer is yes, you can do it without actually physically owning a computer. But the longer answer is you would really want to make sure that you've got your boundaries in place, I would think. And your kind of projections of how long a project is going to take, and making sure that all the technology you would need to complete the project is still available to you, whether it's through something like a library or a college campus that might be close to you, or a friend, whatever. And really, I would think the deadline of kind of how long it might take you to do the work is what really would
Yeah. And I don't know if they're
whatsoever.
asking, maybe they have a tablet, they don't have a laptop
That's
or
a good point,
computer.
too.
And some things you could definitely do like on a tablet. I think it'd be
Sure.
harder without a computer, but some things are probably
Doable.
doable. Yeah.
If you were doing social media, so for instance, if let's say you were answering Instagram comments or Facebook comments or doing that sort of thing or creating social media images, you can do a lot of that from your phone. So I do know some people that they do a lot of their work from their phone. So that is an option. But I would say down the road, it would be really smart for you to invest your earnings into a computer because that's going to give you so much more possibility. Heidi asked, does the course teach you to do some VA jobs or where to get some of the training?
Yes. And yes. We are mostly taking skills. We're mostly helping you find skills that you have and then showing you how that translates into VA work. That's the majority of what we're doing. But there are some specific trainings in there for some specific jobs. And what Victoria was saying was a lot of times what happens is someone says, I really need to know how to do this. I really need to learn how to do this thing. And then we'll kind of whip up a quick video or we'll point you to a free training that you can take. But it's not as intimidating as it sounds. Like we said, the majority of what we're doing is saying you actually probably have skills you don't even know that you have that translate into VA work.
Yeah. And another thing too is that we often, agreeing with everything Carly said, we also will kind of remind and point people, like if there's a specific job you need to know, like you can we help you communicate with that client you're working with to get the training that you need, if that's the case. Because I know that can be intimidating to say, like, I don't know how to do this. Will you teach me? We can kind of help you through that. But yeah, there are some basic things like image creation, like Carleen was mentioning in the course, but really we're kind of helping you see that you can already do this stuff. And then how to communicate effectively with those clients that you get to get the training that you need and to kind of build from there.
Blair asked, how do you validate new clients as legit? I think that's a really important question. And you guys talked about some of your bad experiences. Maybe you can kind of speak to that and give some advice there.
Yeah.
Okay, I can start on that one because yes, guys, I did. Now, fortunately, I didn't have scammy clients. I didn't get scammed. So that's different. They were legitimate clients more in the sense that they were requesting or requiring me to work all hours of the day, and they just weren't respecting boundaries. And like I said, calling during dinner time, never remembering the time difference, which was only an hour. It wasn't that big, those types of things. And then also, I think the worst part for that particular one I'm thinking of is someone was constantly telling me how much they were paying someone to do this job or paying someone to do this job. And yet they weren't paying me very well at all. And so that was kind of the situation I was stuck in. So it was legitimate work, but it was a client that wasn't really understanding kind of how to take care of a VA and how to treat a VA and how much value I was bringing to her business. But we do talk in the course about avoiding scams and how to find legitimate work. And that is so important because they are out there, and it is, they are definitely out there. And I will tell you that both of our guiding rule is that if it doesn't feel good to us in any way, if anything feels off, if anything makes us uncomfortable, if anyone asks us to do something that we don't think is a good idea or not comfortable with, we're out. That's instantly. We'd rather say no to the job than get stuck in a bad situation.
Yeah. And good kind of guiding principles, of course, is just like to look at someone's website and to ask information. And if this person you're communicating with is being cagey and like not wanting to get that information, that's a really big red flag. Of course, like Carly's saying, we kind of have an outline in the course to help you identify like what is a scam, all of those normal markers, like if they're not using real names, if they're have really broken sentences, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's what's tough is like there are scams and there's actual clients, like actual work that maybe just isn't quite a good fit. And so we tell you to follow your gut with those things. And then if you get in that situation, we can kind of help you like respectfully and professionally get out of those.
Or fix it. We've had students be able to fix bad situations. That a lot of times what we're finding is that as a VA, sometimes you're working as the business owner's first VA. So some of it's not that the business owner's being shady or bad, they just don't know.
Right. So. And you're kind of teaching them like what the role is for sure.
Yep. Well, I think it's good that you teach them how to respect you, because I think a lot of times that's something that you have to set your own boundaries, because you have to come into a situation and you have to say, you know, let's say you don't work in the evenings. You decide that ahead of time. And so then if they're asking you, hey, I need this done tonight, you can say, you know, I'd love to get that done for you, but I don't work in the evenings, but I can get that done for you tomorrow. And so I think being gracious, but also holding to your boundaries, because I really respect that from people. If they are saying, you know, my family time is important, me taking care of myself is important, ultimately it's going to benefit me and them and the business and their business if you respect your boundaries and you set those boundaries. So I think that's important. And then I also would encourage you, don't ever do a long-term sort of deal until you've built a good relationship. So let's say someone says, I want you to work for me for the next 2 years and do this huge project, and you've never worked for them before. I would never do something like that. I would say that you start out with a small project and you do that small project and you build the relationship, you build the trust so that you know they're going to pay you, they're going to treat you well, they're going to respect you, they're going to respect your boundaries. You work well together, you like working for them. And then that's when you can think of something more long-term. But that's why when I hire somebody, I'm always going to start out small and see, does this work for not only for me, but does it work for them? Because I don't want people working for me who they don't love their job. I want everybody on my team to love what they do, because if they love what they do, they're going to do a better job of it. And they're going to have more fun, and we're just going to have more life in our business. And so I think it's important on the other side of the coin, you as the virtual assistant, that you are making sure that you're not cornering yourself into something long-term that then you end up being like, I hate this and I'm miserable. And you are not only hurting yourself, but you are hurting your client because you're not doing a great job because you just are miserable.
Yeah.
Okay, so I love what Jessica said. She said, I love admitting that I don't know how to do something, but always follow up by saying that I would love to learn what they need. My clients have been more than willing to teach me. And I think one great gift that you can give to your clients is to not pretend that you know more than you. Don't, you know, it's good to be confident. That's great. Great to be confident, but don't say, absolutely, I can do that. No. I'll give you an example. So Meg, who is my executive assistant, when she started working for me, she actually pitched herself to me, which rarely do I hire somebody when they pitch themselves to me. Usually I go out and find the person and kind of see, wow, they're doing a great job on their blog or with their video editing or with their whatever. And then I come to them and I say, hey, I know you weren't even looking for a job, but I'd like to offer you one. Would you consider this? But with her, she was, she had been working for a bunch of other bloggers who were in my same space. And she had recently, her part-time job that she was working for one of the bloggers that was her main client, that blogger decided to shut down her blog. And so Meg had this 20 hours opened up every week. And so she pitched herself to me because she'd been reading my blog for a long time. We had a relationship. But when she sent her email to me, I was actually at that time praying for this specific sort of person, and she absolutely fit the bill. So I tested her out to see, because I was like, I want somebody who's really honest. So I sent her a long list of all the things that I needed someone to do, knowing that there was no way that one person could legitimately be good at all of those things, because you're not going to be really good at website design and at graphic creation and at copywriting and at marketing and at social media. And it wasn't all those things on the list, but I put a lot of things on the list knowing that if she tells me I can do all those things and I'm really good at it, she's not my person. Because I wanted somebody who would say, these are my strengths, these are my weaknesses, this is where I can shine for you, this is where I'm just not a good fit. And she did that. And when she did that, I was like, yes, I wanted to know. I want to know up front. Be honest. You know, you don't have to say, oh, I'm horrible at that. I'm terrible at that. No, I'm sorry. No, you don't have to be all negative on yourself, but be truthful. You can say, you know what? Actually, I've never done that before, but I'm really fascinated with that. And I would love to learn more. If you're okay with working with me and knowing that I'm going to have to be teaching myself while I'm doing that, then I'd love to help you with that. Or I'd love to help you with that, but I don't think that I'd be good at that. It's totally okay to say that. Be honest about your shortcomings and where you aren't able to know that, knowing yourself that you're not going to do a great job because you're going to do a service to your client and to yourself, and you're being honest and upfront, and they're going to trust you and respect you more for doing that. Okay, Desi Ann asks, how often is your course offered?
Yeah, it is always open, so that is great. And when you buy, you get lifetime unlimited access to all the videos and any new videos you put in the course. So it's open 24/7, 365.
But the bonuses that you guys are offering are
Yes.
only for people through the webinar. So they will
Yes,
only get
that's
those
right.
bonuses. So they could get the course at any time, but they're
Right.
only going to get the bonuses if they are purchasing through this webinar.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. And so a lot of people are asking how to get started, how to find clients, all of that. I know that you guys cover that in the course bonuses. So I'd love for you to maybe speak to that a little bit, but then also talk about the course bonus.
Sure. So in the course, that is definitely a big part of what we talk about, because we understand that when you first kind of get started in the online business world, it's not like you feel like you have a bunch of connections or a bunch of people or any of those kinds of things. So we totally get that. So we talk a lot about how to get started. We give you a lot of steps to set up ahead of time for success, both kind of free tools that you might need, and some of them are so simple, but also kind of what Crystal was talking about with the reason we gave you the schedule to kind of look at was think through your boundaries, think through what time you have, so that when you do talk to a potential client, you're being honest about your skills and your abilities and about your availability. That's really important. And so we kind of set you up for success that way. And then in the course, I think right inside the course are at least 4 different methods of finding clients that then we kind of go into a lot of detail about. And then in the group, though, it's so interesting is that in the group, there's more ways that come up all the time, and people will see jobs and post them in the group, or will find jobs and post them in the group. Or someone will say, hey, this is kind of how I found, a client. We're like, yeah, that's awesome. That's a great way. So this is online business. It's an ever-changing kind of ongoing thing. And so what's fun for us is that we're in this world. This is our world. This is where we work. And so as we learn those new things, as we are like, oh, hey, here's a new Facebook group, or, oh, hey, here's a new, method or whatever, then we share that right with you guys.
Yeah, that was good. You just mentioned like another good kind of bonus we have in the course, Carly, is like Facebook groups. Like we know those are always changing. So we have like a rolling list of the best places to find jobs, the best Facebook groups to find jobs. And again, we know that it's never stagnant. So we want to keep that updated. It's really important to us to kind of be at the front and anticipate as much as we can, and to provide that information for you guys. And the bonus that comes with this webinar, so if you order because you attended the Money Saving Mom webinar, what you get is our complete VA get started guide to being a VA. It's getting late. I'm pregnant. I don't super remember the title right now, but what we do in that guide is we walk you through step by step exactly what you can do to find that first client. And we're careful. We can't guarantee when or how long it might take you to get a client. But what we know is that these are proven strategies and principles that if you follow them, you're setting yourself up for success. You're doing all the right things, and you can be confident that that's a way to get.
It's how our students have found jobs.
Yeah, it's how our students. Yeah. One of my favorite parts of that guide, Carly, is that we have I think it's 2 students who were gracious enough to give us the actual emails they sent.
Yep.
We're like, can you send us an email that you wrote to a client and actually got hired? So we have those in there. We have, structured, like really detailed. You can tell Carly is a homeschool mom because we have a very detailed, like letter outline structure of, start with your greeting and then do this, and just kind of tips for you to further that process even more. Because that's the thing is really, I think probably getting the client is kind of the hardest work of all. Like, of course, You're going to be working hard once you're in there, but it's just that first thing. And really, that's the case in getting any kind of job. I remember first when I was just out of college, I put in like 50 applications, and I was graduating kind of like right after the recession stuff happened. And it's tough, right? It's tough to get jobs, and it took a long time. And once you get in, like, I know I can rock this if I can just get in somewhere. And that's kind of what we're trying to help people through. And it's so exciting for us when a student kind of writes in the group and says, yeah, I got another job. We're like, yes.
Yeah, it's a big party. What's really been fun is when someone says, hey, my hours are full, so I got asked to do this job. Does somebody else want it? Yeah, that's my other favorite one.
Yeah. And sorry, Crystal, did you have something to say? Okay. We can I'll sneak peek something we have coming this year is Carly and I, because we see this need to help educate business owners of how to work with VAs, we are kind of working on a little resource to help business owners know how to hire VAs. And then in doing that, we're looking forward to kind of building even more bridges between the VAs that we train and then the businesses that we prepare to hire VAs. So that's kind of an exciting bonus, if you will, of being in the course, is that we're committed to kind of being on the front of all of this change and trying to define, what it means to do this well, and then to connect all the people who are succeeding in both areas of like being VAs and then hiring VAs.
That's so good. That's so necessary and needed, because I have had so many businesses coming to me. I know so many blogs and sites right now that they're desperately looking for good VAs, and that they're asking like, I don't even know, like, how do I make this happen? Like, where do I find the people? Where do I find good people? How do I know if they're, how do I go about this process? So on the other end, as business owners, we're saying the same thing. We're just like, how do we connect to them? How do we connect to them? Where are they? Okay, so I know we need to wrap this up, because I still cannot believe we have 206 people watching right now.
I know.
Amazingly gracious. But I wanted to, there was a couple more questions that I wanted to cover. And that was, someone asked, do most clients want someone with a degree? And just to be completely honest, I thought about it and I was like, I don't know that I have ever even asked someone about their degree when I hired them. I don't even know if the people on my team, I don't even know if they have a college degree. So that tells you the world that, at least in my virtual world, that's not even something I consider. I look at their character, I look at their skill set, I look at their experience, but I mostly look at their character, because I know that I can train for skill sets. I cannot train for character. So I'm looking for someone who is diligent, who's a self-starter, who's detail-oriented, or these types of things, who I work well with, who I like, who our personalities jive. I'm looking for that. And I know that we can train them how to design the graphics if they have an eye for that, or we could train them how to do the technical stuff if they have a little bit of interest and ability there. We can explore that further and they can develop that, but they can't develop character. And so character always trumps any sort of degree, certification, or even experience for me. Okay, so a couple more questions that I'm gonna let you guys take, and I think you have a giveaway or something, and I'll let you wrap things up, because it's 10 p.m. over here and it's getting close to my bedtime. But Rochelle wanted to know, how is your course different than other VA courses out there? And Jimmy asked about if there's any kind of guarantee. So if you guys want to handle talk about that and wrap things up, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah. Sure. So I'll talk to the guarantee, and then Victoria, I'll let you talk about the difference between our course and others. But so what we have is a 2-week refund time. And the reason for that is that when we recorded this course, we had busy moms in mind. And so there's no fluff in the course. They're very quick videos. You can finish it in a week easily and start applying it. And so, so we have a 2-week guarantee. If you take the course in those 2 weeks and you don't think that you're confident that you can start being a VA, then we'll gladly refund your money, no questions asked, within that time.
Yeah. And if you're wondering about like guarantee of getting jobs, like, again, we can't unfortunately do that. Like, if we could predict the future though, we would have very different jobs, but what we can know what they're doing is giving you really good skills and like setting you up for success in the best way we knew how, which kind of leads into how our course is different from the other ones. Like Carly mentioned, busy moms, that's who we made it for. So it's really no fluff. It's all good information. We have this great community of moms. And what I think is really cool is it's a community of moms and women who are committed to just building each other up and being collaborative, not competitive. it's people who are, swapping ideas and like, how did you handle this situation? And we're in there giving help as we can. So you're getting access to that community. Both Carly and myself, we've been, I don't know what we should figure out what our combined VA like years working. But anyway, we have between us, lots of experience working, lots of kind of just connections in the online world. Like she mentioned, we kind of know what's happening and kind of have our hands in a lot of different circles, and we can kind of help people navigate that. I think give some more insider information, if you will, that isn't maybe available other places. Yeah. And it's just like, we're just there. Like it's no fluff. We're just working hard. It's who we are. And we're not trying to kind of be like over the top or anything. What we really want to do is just convey how we were able to do this amazing life-changing thing for our families to other people. That's really our heart behind why we made this.
Yeah. And I think the other big thing is that we're not speaking to anyone with experience. So if you have experience, say you have an experience as an administrative assistant or something, that's great. And that will help you. Anything you've done, any skill you have will help you, but you don't have to have any kind of experience in this world or as an assistant or anything like that. So we start assuming you don't know. We literally start assuming you don't know these programs that business owners use that I didn't know ahead of time. We assume you don't know what, a CTA is, right? A call to action. Like we assume you don't know these words and you don't know this world, and we walk you into the world so that you have enough kind of vocabulary and skills and understanding to kind of get your foot in, and then you learn from there. So I'd say that's one of the big differences from what I've seen.
Mm-hmm. And so, like that, if we're going to wrap it up, we can move into the giveaway. I'm afraid to put up a picture of what we're giving away, but on our Facebook page, we shared tonight, we are giving away 2 gift baskets, and I have the names right here. Our moderators were kind of watching the chat for us and picking names. But basically what happened is that TJ Maxx had some wonderful sales this week. And so we have 2 gift baskets. One is like the work hard gift basket, and one is the happy home gift basket. And I'm going to try to find our Facebook link really quickly to throw it in the chat. But the 2 winners, if you're still here, hopefully are Blair Hansen and Lisa Manning. If you ladies are still in the chat, hooray, you won. And we will try to contact you afterwards as well, but you can always email us, hello@momsworkhard. But Blair Hansen and Lisa Manning, you guys have won our 2 fun gift baskets. Thanks to TJ Maxx Clearance for letting us do 2 and not just 1. Here we go. And I'm trying to get a quick picture for you guys so you can see what you won, and we'll figure out who gets what.
Hey, Blair's here. Hi, Blair.
Yay, congratulations. I can't wait to send this to you.
So email us hello@momsworkhard.com, and you can give us your address and we'll send it to you. So fun.
Yes, I just put the link of the picture in the comments. I'm super excited. We've never done it like live, an actual giveaway item before. So
that was really fun.
Thrilled to ship this out. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for sticking with us. Like Crystal said, we will definitely repeat this whole webinar on one platform, hopefully later in the week. But thank you all so much for your time and attention and great questions. We're really, really grateful.
And if we didn't answer your question, feel free to email us. We'll be happy to answer it via email. So hello@momsworkhard.com.
Yeah.
And I just have to say a huge shout out to Carly and Victoria for being the most chill people in the middle of crazy insanity webinar. Like seriously, I thought you must have dealt with a lot of very stressful situations with clients or something that you're just sort of like, oh, this happens every day. We just so thank you so much for being so calm and sweet and gracious through it all, and thank you for staying way past the time that you were expecting, staying up late even when you're pregnant and tired. So but yes, thank you all so much for coming, and thank you for bearing with all of this, and I take full responsibility. Again, I'm so sorry. And just when we think we found a webinar platform that will not have a problem, like literally my guy is texting me saying, no, we won't do Webinar Jam again. And I'm like, well, then what's left? Because
there's nothing left, Crystal.
But we're going going to figure something out because we're going to do it again. But so you'll get a replay in your inbox, and then I'll be posting more details on when we're going to do the next one, and you'll get an email about that. So anyway, thank you again. Have a great night, and I hope that you're able to take advantage of the course and these great bonuses. And I can't wait to hear if you get some BA jobs as a result of this webinar. That would make me so excited. So have a great evening, and see you all later.